Hello everyone, in this video we are just going to implement external interrupt in AT89S52 microcontroller which is based on 8051 architecture. Let's get started. Initially, I'm just going to build the Proteus simulation circuit first. I'm opening the Proteus 8 Professional. And here click on the schematic capture icon to open the schematic capture tab. Initially what we want to do is we just want to pick up the devices required for building our simulation circuit. For that, click on this components mode icon and then click on this P for opening the pick devices tab. And here I am just going to type in the name of the microcontroller that I am going to choose. So previously I mentioned that the microcontroller that I am going to work on hardware is AT89S52, but that microcontroller is not available in this Proteus simulation software. So that is why I am just choosing the similar kind of microcontroller, that is AT89C51. For selecting this microcontroller, make a double click on this. You can see the microcontroller is listed on the devices tab, which is selected. Further, I want push button. Type in button over here, and this is the button required. I am selecting this too. And I want resistor. Type in RES, and I'm going to select this generic resistor symbol, and value of the resistance can be varied in the simulation runtime. And finally I want LED. Type in LED and scroll down a little bit. You can find variety of color LEDs: yellow, red, green, blue. I'm just choosing this yellow and click on OK to close this tab. Now click on this microcontroller and come to the schematic capture tab, and here make a left click. You can see the layout of the microcontroller over here. Go somewhere over here and again make a left click for placing the microcontroller. In the same manner, I am just placing the button over here and LED right over here. And regarding the resistor, I am just going to place two resistors, one above the button and one above the LED. And here I just want to connect this resistor end to the pin 1.0 of the microcontroller. So for doing that, go near the starting point of the terminal and make a left click on the mouse. And once you move the mouse, you can see the wire is also dragging along with your mouse. Go to the other end where you want to make the connection and again make a left click. You can see the connection has been made. In a similar manner, I am just connecting other end of the resistor to the anode of the LED, and I am going to use the external interrupt 0 of the microcontroller, that is nothing but INT0 pin of the microcontroller, that is pin 3.2. So I am connecting the button to the pin 3.2 of the microcontroller, that is INT0 pin, and I am going to provide pull-up resistor for the same pin. So I am connecting resistor one end to the same terminal, that is INT0 pin, and other end of the resistor will be connected to the power rail. And further, I want ground for this LED as well as this push button. So for that, click on this terminal modes tab, and here you can find the ground. Click on this ground and place it over here and again over here, and I am making the connection between the button and the ground and cathode of the LED and the ground. And regarding the power for this pull-up resistor, you can see the power rail over here. I'm selecting that and I'm placing it over here, and I'm connecting the resistor to the power rail. So for providing the value for this power rail, double click on this power rail and here type in the value required, 5 volt in my case. And here you can see the resistor value is 10 kilo ohms by default. Since this is a current limiting resistor for this small LED, very little amount of resistance is enough for driving this LED. So I'm just going to change the value of this resistance. Double click on this 10 kilo ohms and here type in the value required. I'm just going to provide 220 ohms. Type in 220 and click on OK. Since this is a pull-up resistor, 10 kilo ohms by default is nominally okay over here, so I'm leaving it as it is. And double click on this microcontroller and change the crystal frequency to be 11.0592 megahertz and click on OK. And that's it. You can see the simulation circuit is ready, and let's try to implement external interrupt in this microcontroller by programming in KEIL Microvision IDE. I'm opening the KEIL Microvision IDE. Now click on the project tab and select new Microvision project and go to the respective folder where you want to store the project files and then give a name for your project. Then click on save. Here you just want to select the microcontroller that you are working on. Click on this drop down menu and select legacy device database, and in this search box type in the microcontroller name AT89S52. So here is our microcontroller. Click on this and click on OK. Now the Microvision is prompting us whether it has to create the startup file for our microcontroller. Remember one thing, that our microcontroller AT89S52 does not require any startup file for running. So click on no. You can see the project pro has been created. Click on this plus icon, and in the source group you just want to create the source file for our project. Right click the source group and click on add new item to group source group 1. Here select C file.c and give a name as main. Remember that this is a user defined name, so you can give whatever name you want, but because this is a source file for this project, I am giving it as main. And then click on add. Now that we have created the source file for our project, we just want to add the header file for our microcontroller, where the definition of all the registers of our microcontroller has been done. So I hope you remember this header file AT89S52 that we created in the first lecture of interfacing LED with our 8051 microcontroller, and we kept on updating this header file till now. I am just going to add this header file again to my project. For adding that, right click this source group again and click on add existing files to group source group 1, and then go to the respective locations and click on this AT89S52 header file and click on add. Then close the window. Now you can see the header file has been successfully added to our project. Remember that we are not going to create this header file again and again in the future lectures. We are just going to update the same header that we wrote in the first lecture of interfacing LED with our 8051 microcontroller as per the requirement of registers in our future lectures. I am including this header file to my main.c as include of AT89S52.h, and below it I am just going to write the main function, and inside the main function I am just going to write the while of 1. You just want to remember that our program will be always having this main function, and inside this main function we will be having this while of 1. This will be found in almost all the embedded programs. There are two types of programming instructions available in our embedded programming, that is one-time executable segments, that is the configuration lines, will be done inside this int main or the main function, and the programming lines that needs to be executed again and again, that is the logic of our program that needs to be executed every time until the microcontroller is stopped, must be written inside this while of 1. So this is the difference between these two things. Now that all the port registers has been successfully configured with their respective addresses, let's try to configure the registers required for this external interrupt. So the registers required for external interrupt is mainly two registers. One is IE, which is interrupt enable register, and other one is TCON register. let's see these two registers in detail. So this is the data sheet of this microcontroller AT89S52, and you can download this document by the link provided in the description. You can see this is the SFR map of the microcontroller, and here you can find the IE register which is located in A8 address. So I'm just defining this IE register, which is the interrupt enabled register, which is mainly used for enabling the interrupts of the microcontroller. SFR of IE. I'm just giving the same name as IE, and which is located in the address 0xA8. And secondly, we want a register from the timer of the microcontroller. I will tell you why further in the lecture. That is nothing but TCON register, which is located at 0x88. So I'm just declaring that to TCON with the same name, and I'm giving the address as 88. This is a timer control register, and we will be using several bits located in this register for external interrupt. That is why I'm declaring this register also. And further going into this registers, you can see this is the interrupt enable register, that is IE, and 0th bit of this register is nothing but EX0, which is used for enabling the external interrupt 0. And first bit is ET0, which is used for enabling the timer 0 interrupt. And second bit is EX1, which is used for enabling the external interrupt 1. And third bit is ET1, which is used for enabling the timer 1 interrupt. And the fourth bit is nothing but serial interrupt enable bit, which is used for enabling the serial port interrupt of the microcontroller. Fifth bit is nothing but ET2, which is used for enabling the timer 2 interrupt of the microcontroller. And finally, seventh bit is EA bit, which is a global interrupt enable bit. Irrespective of whatever the interrupts you are enabling, you just want to enable this bit for enabling all the interrupts. So we are just going to define each of these bits separately using S bit of first bit is EX0, which is the 0th bit of the microcontroller, which is located in 0xA8, which is the starting address of the register, right? So this is the 0th bit, so I am giving the same address 0xA8. And second bit is ET0, which is located in the address 0xA9, which is the next bit to the EX0. And the third bit is EX1, which is the actually second bit, and which is located in 0xAA. And S bit of next bit is nothing but ET1, which is located next to EX1. So the address is 0xAA plus 1, which is nothing but 0xAB in hexadecimal. And next bit is ES, which is serial port interrupt enable, and it is located next to the ET1. So the address of this bit is AB plus 1, which is nothing but AC in hexadecimal. And the next bit is ET2, which is timer 2 interrupt enable, and which is located at 0xAD. And further you can see after the ET2 there is a reserved space, which means the corresponding bit is allocated for some other purpose in this microcontroller. So we will leave the address 0xAE, which is next to this AD, and we will assign the address 0xAF to this EA bit. So S bit of EA equal to 0xAF. So you must remember that AE is the memory location which is reserved over here. So that is why we are defining this EA with the address 0xAF. So we have successfully configured each and every individual bits of interrupt enabled register, and let's take a look at the TCON register, which is the timer control register. So I'm moving to the timer 0, and here you can see timer 0 and 1 in the AT89S52 operate the same way as timer 0 and 1 in the AT89C51 and C52. So here you can see a statement: timer 0 and 1 in the AT89S52 operate the same way as timer 0 and 1 in the AT89C51 and C52. So I am just going to open the user manual of AT89C51 for viewing the TCON register. So this is the user manual of AT51 microcontroller. Here I am just going to timer 0, and this is the corresponding timer control register, which is TCON register. Here we are just going to use these 4 bits for external interrupt, which is the LSB bits of this control register. IT0, IE0 is meant for external interrupt 0, and IE1 and IT1 is meant for external interrupt 1. Here the first bit of the control register is IE0, so this bit is the corresponding interrupt flag for the external interrupt 0 in this microcontroller. So whenever a EX0 interrupt occurs, this flag will be automatically raised by the processor. So we want to clear this flag inside the interrupt subroutine. So similarly, this IE1 is the interrupt flag for external interrupt 1, and here you can see the IT0 and IT1. So this IT0 is meant for external interrupt 0, and this IT1 is meant for external interrupt 1. When you give a value of 0 to this IT0, a level triggered type of interrupt will be generated in the microcontroller. And when you provide a value of 1 to this bit IT0, external interrupt 0 will be triggered whenever an edge is detected. That is particularly whenever a falling edge is detected. That is nothing but edge triggered method of interrupt will be generated. So most oftenly you will be using only this edge triggered type of interrupts. Very rare case you will be using this level triggered interrupt. Difference between these two things is very simple. That is, for this level triggered type of interrupt, you just want to maintain a particular level for generating an interrupt. That is, here you can see only a low level can generate an interrupt. So you just want to maintain a low level for a particular period of time for generating an interrupt. But in case of edge triggered interrupt, here also you can see only a falling edge can trigger an interrupt. No rising edge can trigger an interrupt in this microcontroller. So whenever a falling edge is detected in the particular pin, that is external interrupt pin, interrupt will be triggered to the processor. Let me explain in detail. And here you can see I have connected a push button to the INT0, which is external interrupt pin 0 of the microcontroller, with the pull up resistor. So initially it is maintaining high state, and whenever I press the button connected to that pin, the moment when I press the button which is connected to this pin, you can see a high to low transition will be seen in this INT0, and it is maintained in 0 because I am holding the button. So at that moment when the high to low transition occurs in this pin, the interrupt will be triggered. So this is the case. So we are just going to choose the edge triggered method of interrupt. These two bits, bit 1 and 0, IE0, IT0 is meant for external interrupt 0, and this IE1 and IT1 is meant for external interrupt 1. So I'm just going to declare these 4 bits: IT0, which is located in the starting address, which is the 0th bit of the register. So I'm just going to give the same address 0x88 to this bit, since this is a starting bit 0, and the second bit is IE0, which is the interrupt flag for the external interrupt. So I'm just going to give the address 0x88 plus 1, which is 0x89, and the second bit is IE1, which is the interrupt flag for interrupt 1, as you can see here, sorry, IT1. So I'm just changing this to be IT1, which is located next to the IE0. So the address is 0x89 plus 1, which is nothing but 0x8A in hexadecimal, and the next bit is IE1, which is the interrupt flag for external interrupt 1, which is located next to the address 8A, so which is nothing but 8B. So that's all about the registers required for configuring and using the external interrupt in this microcontroller. Let's start writing the programming.